Yes, guys, and welcome back to the Weekly Ramble. I think, what, is this episode 4?
Stop being so over the top. Main character syndrome again and again and again.
What are you wearing?
I mean, this is the Thogden channel and you've got main character...
What am I doing wrong, Dad? We're just trying to start the podcast and you got some... What have you changed?
You'll never guess.
What?
You thought this was I Am Alex, didn't you?
No.
It's Thogdad.
No, Mimulus.
What? Mimulus, sorry. Yeah, Mimulus. What? They're both, aren't they mates or something?
But very different people. Dad, look, Mimulus has made a video on us.
Yeah, and do you know what? Do you know what? Joking aside, I laughed all the way through that. I thought he's obviously, Mimulus, a funny guy. So
Wow,
thank you for the
brilliant.
publicity.
Wow.
But what do you think of that? Honestly,
I know.
Honest reactions to that.
I'm getting cooked. Do you know what? It's an honour to be part of the roster,
Tell me,
Mimulus.
I'm an old guy. What is the roster?
The roster is the hit list.
Yeah.
The people that he sits there and goes for. And for years, he knows this too. I've been subscribed for a while. He can see the stats. You know, I like to watch him to be able to know who everyone's getting cooked. And then one evening, I just turn it on and it's me. I'm the one getting cooked. Yeah. And obviously we watch the video and people always come for me here or there, which is obviously great promotion. And people usually use the word rage bait. It's amazing when people talk about me, helps build the brand. Yeah. And this one was actually very positive. The way Mimulus spoke, he was very honest, he was very nice, very polite, very respectful. I mean, of course, it would have been nice to actually speak my side of the story, but that's not how it works nowadays with journalism. Yeah. I feel like when it came to talking about certain points, he forced one perception rather than the other, but then if he didn't, he probably wouldn't have a video.
Yeah, no, I mean, my reaction to it was, first of all, it was a funny video. It's great for us. Honestly, anything like this
it's amazing.
Always leads to a spike in our views, so thank you, Mimulus. But,
no, and actually, we did better numbers than Ashton Hall as well. I saw he posted one on the morning routine guy, and our video got to 100k views, way quicker than his. Yeah. And it's amazing, you know? But you've got to remember that YouTube has this industry of commentary creators, guys that they live off bringing other people down. And I like what Mimulus does because he's not so, he's light-hearted about it. Yes. And he's got that positive nature. And when I watch him cook other creators who I think have done a lot worse stuff, he still comes in with a positive mindset. He never forces his Discord chat or his YouTube audience to like go and purely hate on them. Of course, we had a few comments, but obviously that helps the brand even more so every day. Yeah.
But one thing I can't quite understand, Theo, I mean, he has a go at you for the kind of the main character syndrome, that you turn up to things and you're like the main character. But this is a guy sat in a chair with a bandana, sunglasses, and sometimes a hat. Isn't that a main character? And the whole point about this industry is it's entertainment. So if you go to an Inter Miami game, you can't just sit there.
That Inter Miami thing is...
You can't just sit there and be like, oh yes, good goal, Lionel Messi in the last minute. So to some extent, you've got to realise this is the business.
Yeah. Well, first of all, being able to go to Miami and call it work is a dream, right? To fly there and watch Lionel Messi on his debut after I've significantly supported that player on Sky Sports, on big YouTube channels, Saturday Social, during the World Cup, live TV, and to see him score that moment live, and then to show him later on, show him that I was there for that goal. As an Englishman, he was pretty surprised about that. That's an honourable thing. And so the picture, when you watch that video, you don't understand that I'm there for Messi.
And something that a lot of people won't know, that I know, is that throughout your life, number one, you've been a massive Argentina fan.
Yeah.
And
we got to do that trip as well this year.
And then what you did there, you went out and you learnt about Diego Maradona. You went out and you started drinking Argentinian tea.
Yerba mate.
Are actually, you've got this amazing love for Argentina.
I do, and maybe people won't understand it, but I love the way Argentinians live their life. Yeah. They're positive, they don't care about money, they purely just live and enjoy the moment. They like having a beer, they like playing paddle, they drink yerba mate, they go outside, they party, they dance, they sing with their arms out like this, they support Leo Messi till death, Diego Maradona. They live for the culture, and I think that's what England has got so wrong. So yes, I support Argentina during a World Cup, and English won't like that, and I'm different, and I'm unique. Yeah. But do you know what, Dad? That country is what I feel closest to in terms of culture. You know I love paddle, yerba mate. You know every time I go there, we went to Buenos Aires, and we're drinking, what was the Coke with the what was the drink called?
Fernet. Fernet
I
and
love
Coke.
Fernet.
Oh my God, we're drinking that by the pint. It's like this Italian fortified wine with Coca-Cola.
And I don't care to agree with the masses. I don't care to agree with the masses.
And
If you feel...
But this is exactly. But my point is, and I spent that week in Buenos Aires with you, and it felt like you'd come home.
Yeah.
You were so happy, so content
Every day.
for that whole week in terms of the food we ate, the drinks, playing the paddle, hanging out with people who love football and love Messi.
The steaks are incredible.
You love the food, yes.
I love the food. The Argentinian style pizza, which is very different to Italian. The football, the way they support inside the stadium, the content that we made, the connection we made with River Plate as well. I feel like whenever we go back to the Monumental, we're very welcome there. We got in with the fans. Yeah, I feel like that is my country. And, you know, I'll always support England till I die. You know, I was born in England. I'm half Russian. Those two countries I'll always be fond of. But there's something about Argentina. You don't have to be born in a place to love another country. And I really love the way they live life. And that's just me being honest. And people will bring up wars and bring up other crap. I don't care about that. I don't care about politics. I care about the way creating friends worldwide and enjoying life, and they do it best.
Absolutely.
End of.
And the other thing to point out, Theo, is this whole concept of the YouTube game.
Yeah.
It is an entertainment game.
It is.
So when you're on a video, yes, you are a bit kind of, you know, a little bit crazy, calm down, everyone. That is your public persona. In the same way that Mimulus, when he's doing his videos, he's got a bandana on.
Yeah.
He's not going to the shops in a bandana and glasses.
Well, that's it, right? So he's got this
entertainment.
YouTube
Correct.
part, and when it's time to call it a day, he'll move on to something else, and he'll take off the bandana, and he'll be a completely different character. With me, I like to be completely the same. I mean, whether people like it or not, maybe I infuse certain situations. I do, that's true. But for who I am, that's what you get, whether you like it or not, take it or leave it. There's no one forcing you to watch my content. There's no one telling you to come speak to me if I'm at a match. Always willing to have a chat, always willing to have a picture, always willing for everything. You know that, Dad. That's the way. I know that. You see, and I always say the way a character is, the way a person is always because of their parents. So I've got to thank you for that, and Thogden as well, of course.
Yeah, I mean, but there are, in some ways you could argue there's Theo and there's Thogden.
Yeah.
And obviously I've seen Theo for 24 years. And I would say that Thogden is kind of a heightened Theo, if you know what I mean.
But I think it's similar.
It's take the Theo base, and then it's kind of, you know, you are conscious that the cameras are on. Yeah. It is an entertainment persona. So, for example, when the cameras aren't on, you're slightly different. You're a little bit more mellow. So we're playing football on a Thursday night, afterwards in the pub. You're not always being the main character.
I guess that's also because I'm so knackered from a week of filming and travelling that I like to just shoot off and switch off.
Yes.
You know? It's different. Yeah. It's different.
Having said that, certainly in your character, there is an authenticity. I mean, if Mimulus is implying that you're not authentic, I think that's wrong. Because you are a very optimistic person.
Absolutely.
You do get excited by things. That's your character. Now, it's not, you know, to some people that's not cool, is it? You know, a lot of sort of ultras who want to be a bit like miserable and nothing excites me, and that's cool. That's not you.
That's not me.
So
and there's no one telling me how to live my life. I think that's important.
You're doing your own thing, and I admire that.
Yeah.
And I think that is a great example for everyone watching it. Be yourself.
Be yourself.
You don't have to be, you know, don't try to be Thogden or Mimulus.
The greatest of this generation stuck to his roots and never changed, and that's I Show Speed. Look where he is today. Yes. And I'm sure along the journey, everybody tried to cancel him. I remember he went on Sky Sports and people said he was being too noisy. He skyrocketed their views and then they kicked him off the show. That's the way life works. I've been in this YouTube game 10 years. People have seen me grown up on the channel. People have seen me grown up. I'm Saudi League status now, but I've still not changed. I still think it's the same. You know, I've made a business from my passion, which is football. And yes, I get excited over football, but for God's sake, it's the greatest sport in the world. I love it. You know, I can turn up to any game in any country, learn a bit of info about the league table or the playoff or this derby or this long amount of time that they've not beat this team, and then boom, I'm locked in, I'm supporting them. What, am I going to turn up and be negative and be, oh, look, they've done it, oh, look at them? No, I'm going to get involved. Same as the World Cup, Club World Cup, Euros, all of it. You'll see me in there. I don't care.
Absolutely. Well, you're coming up to like 1 billion video views, so you're obviously doing something
long form as well. Because you've got to remember that a lot of these creators nowadays are just gaining short-term views. They're getting 10-second clips. I have always prioritized long form because the connection, the reason everybody knows Thogden when you walk down the street and you show my face is because we make long-form content. We make long-form content where globally, if a football fan watches a longer spread time of video, it's on their mind more than a 20-second clip. Simple as that. So that's why we've always focused on longer form content. So that value of number of views, that 1 billion long form views, and you know, of course, along the route, not everyone's going to like you, and that's actually the art of it. It grows you even more. It makes you even bigger. It makes you more powerful.
I mean, that is the irony. Every time a video like that drops, it helps your numbers, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
But the
and
other
look,
thing,
football is always love and hate. You support one team, you
Yeah.
hate on the other. That's the mindset of the football fans. It's the same mindset as me. If someone's playing against England and I'm in the stadium, I'm going to hate the other team for 90 minutes. And of course, that can always turn into some, negative press. Football fans in general are negative. If everything was perfect, football wouldn't be fun. It's about the peaks and troughs. It's about the up and downs. People prefer to complain about something than enjoy success. That's why I find it boring if you must be a Liverpool fan this year or Man City for the last few years. Bolton and England, so up and down. That's the love of it. That's why it makes you even closer with the sport.
Do you know what? I've got a very good mate, Shay, who has given up on Man City recently because he just found it boring these days.
Yeah.
He had much more enjoyment going home and away when they were in the third or the fourth tier.
It's interesting.
And now it's like, it's not the same football.
Not the same.
But I want to make another point. So the Mimulus video, he went after you a lot about the Saudi Arabia thing.
Yeah.
We did a paid promotion for Visit Saudi. We're not hiding it at all. I can't wait to go there. You've been there.
I've been there many times.
And I think it's fair to say that in Mimulus's video, and he's a professional, he knows what he's doing, he took a video from 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was selectively edited, wasn't it?
It was. And
there
was no comment of saying what we actually spoke about in the video, welcoming the Saudis, but also mentioning the past of the country. But we can talk about the past of the UK.
Yeah.
We can talk about the past of any country. That's an era that, we're not hiding from it. The same way it goes that if you're going to, bring up every single person that brings up the Saudi thing, let's see where they are in 2030 when the World Cup's on. Will they be supporting it? Will they be watching it?
And this is what I find, Theo, is that there is a lot of hypocrisy out there. So my view is if you want to criticise Saudi Arabia, then you will not watch the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. You will not watch the World Cup when it goes to Saudi Arabia. You will never watch a Newcastle game. In fact, because Newcastle are allowed to be owned by basically the Saudi authorities, why are you even watching Premier League? So fine, if you want to have those views,
or the Carabao
then
Cup,
you must take them to the extreme. You cannot have those views and then watch a sporting event in Saudi.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hypocrisy out there.
There is. And people like to have their views, and I don't think they're consistent in all values. And that's just us, People will come for it, they'll nitpick things, but then they won't have the same views from another angle. That's life. That's life. If it's typical with politicians at the top of the world who do the same thing because they want to try and make sure everybody's happy. For us, we just do what we want, we say what we want, and that's just it. I like to be clear with that. I like to stick with my opinion.
Yes, and certainly we had a similar thing during the Qatari World Cup, didn't we?
It was the same over again.
There was some people who decided we're against Qatar for various reasons.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons they brought up was that it's illegal to be gay in Qatar, as it is in Saudi. If you do the research on this, there are 66 countries in the world where it is not legal to be gay. And those countries are in the Caribbean, much of Africa, the Middle East, Asia. 66 countries, which include the likes of Egypt and Jamaica and Malaysia. So if you want to follow that argument to its conclusion, you would never visit any of those countries. So there's a lot of hypocrites who would take a holiday in Malaysia or Jamaica or Egypt and then have a go at us because we went to Qatar.
Right.
There's a lot of hypocrisy, and deep down, and this is nothing to do with Mimulus, I think there's a little bit of racism.
There is a lot of that.
Here.
And I think racism within religion as well.
Yes.
And I've even seen it this week with not just a Muslim thing, but this week I've seen it with an Orthodox Catholic thing.
Yes.
Where the Pope dies, and some of the abuse I've been seeing, some of the jokes online about the disrespect just because Italy took a 1 week break from football. It's horrible.
Yeah.
People really feel that it's like a football audience, them against us. It's like a war. It's like my religion and anything else, we're against them. It's so sad that religion causes all this feud online.
Yeah.
I never have this mindset. Never in my life.
It is that there's a lot of nastiness out there.
Yeah, there
Theo.
is. People taking the piss just because the Pope, obviously, in a very Catholic country like Italy, it's almost like the king or queen dying. Of course, there's going to be a break from football in the UK.
It's more than that, Theo. I mean, the Pope is, of course, the head of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
The Pope is seen as beyond man. So it's the representative of God, the Catholic God on this earth.
Yeah.
So it's more than a human dying. It's a time of great sadness for anyone of the Catholic faith, which is a lot of people in Europe, throughout the world, in the Philippines, in South America, Central America. It is an enormous day for Catholics. It's a day of great mourning whenever a pope dies. Why can't we show respect, whether we're Muslim, Protestant, Buddhist? Why can't we show respect for other people? I think a lot of the nastiness is so easy these days because of social media.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get on that.
It's so sad.
I mean, it's really...
People would
You know,
rather...
the people who are doing this are the really saddos.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. You're not doing it.
Unfortunately, I came across it, and these people just want a few thousand likes on X. They sell their soul.
Yes.
They literally sell their soul for a few thousand likes on X.
Yes.
And it makes them feel better in the short term that they've got some tweet that's got a few likes, rather than actually being respectful in a bigger manner. And the moment their work sees it, they'll be fired. The moment they go outside and say this, they'll be questioned.
Yeah.
But they feel like they can get away with it because they hide behind a profile. I mean, it's sad. Elon Musk said he'd come into X and change this, and it's got worse.
Yeah.
It's got worse.
Right.
He'd said he'd come in and make this verification where every name, if they say something bad, da-da-da-da, and then look at the state of X now. It is a minefield. If people spend more than 2 hours a day on that app, then I really question what they're doing with their time. I really do. It is absolute. It's horrible. It's disgusting. Especially in the football version of X.
Financial Twitter is different.
Yeah.
Because you
It's
can
actually
go on
very
there
good.
and you can learn about companies and what have you.
Yeah.
Football Twitter is just nasty.
It is horrible.
And if you go, and I don't go on there anymore. I don't go on football Twitter anymore. I don't see the point.
I don't
you
use
go
X
on
at
there
all
and
anymore.
you could feel your blood boiling.
Really?
Yes, I mean I think it makes people worse if you go on Football X.
Yeah.
I think it's a dangerous place, particularly for young people.
And especially now that, you know how bad it is when workplaces are actually checking your X account
Yeah.
to see what you've posted about in the past, to see if you're actually okay to have the job, because it shows your extreme side. And it's
Yes.
very clever from bosses to go out there and check.
Yes,
I've heard a
quite
lot
right.
of people have lost their
Yes.
job from what they've said, and that's the reality of life. So is this really you? Are you forcing this agenda for someone to get a few likes? I mean, it's just a horrible place to be, and the way it's got this far is disgusting. So
I mean, recently there was a lady got a job in football marketing, and she put a sort of pro-Hamas, anti-Semitic tweet from years ago, and her new bosses found that, and she got fired within 72 hours.
That's the absolute minimum of it, though, Dad.
Yes.
There's way worse out there.
Yes.
You know, the sort of things people say on there is disgusting. And that's the reality of it. And, you know, I've seen a bit of it recently because of the Pope passing away, and it's really sad. What do you think about the new Pope? They're taking odds for the new Pope.
Oh, by the way, there was a great film recently called
Yeah.
Conclave with Ralph Fiennes, which is absolutely brilliant, and it's about the process when
How
a
did
pope
they find it
dies.
out? Yeah.
When a pope dies,
Yeah.
so they invite in all the cardinals from all over the world, and they literally they come to the Vatican and they take away their phones. And they're like, right, you're going to go into this room and you're going to vote for the next pope from among you.
Are we
And
going to
then-
have the first
and it
black
take-
Pope? That's the question.
Do you know what? Watch the film Conclave, because there is. I won't tell you what happens,
Okay.
but you know, you're looking at, right, who can be pope. It's an absolutely brilliant.
I think
film.
we'll see the first black Pope. That's my prediction.
And that would be amazing.
Groundbreaking. It'd be amazing for the Vatican. It'd be amazing for Italy. It'd be amazing for the Catholic world.
Yes.
I think it will happen this time round. People spend their whole life just for this moment, to wait to find out who will get this moment. And I think, yeah, it's going to change. And it's going to be really interesting when that happens.
If you think about it, the most famous people in the world, who would you say? Always the Pope.
Yeah.
Always the President of the United
King
States.
or Queen of Britain.
Well, not really. Not
Royal
really.
family, no?
I mean, that's a figurehead, isn't it? They have no real power. But in terms of, you know, I'd say the Pope.
Russian president, Chinese,
You could pick 2 or 3 like that.
probably those three.
But I'd say the number 1 would be the Pope.
Yeah.
Because he is the figurehead for that religion. So I'm sure those cardinals will select the right person for the
Yeah,
job. And
it'd
it
be very
is huge. In an ever-changing world, that is an enormous pick, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Well, there's a lot going on. Well, where do we start?
I love the fact that we're talking about the Pope, you know, a couple
Yeah,
of
well, of
football
course.
YouTubers. We're talking about
Italian
the
football
Pope.
stopped,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's a respectful thing, isn't it? I mean, a lot of those footballers will be Catholic. They will not be in the mood to have a game of football.
No way. Yeah. A lot of the fans as well will want to not want to have to cheer and chant. They'll want to just keep it easy that weekend.
I'm reading an amazing book at the moment. It's about the Munich air disaster.
Yeah.
I think by a guy called David Peace, called Munich's, and it's about the Munich air disaster and looking at the survivors and the people who died and what was going on in 1958. And one of the things, so Man United lost 8 of their first team players, the Busby Babes,
Yeah.
who'd won the title the 2 years before. So they were allowed 2 or 3 weeks without playing, but the regular First Division games went ahead.
Wow.
Despite the fact that Man United had been wiped out on the Thursday, on the weekend, the First Division games happened. And that wouldn't happen nowadays, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, if that happened, something so tragic happened these days, you'd have a couple of weeks where the Premier League didn't happen, and quite rightly.
You got to look back at like the come up of John Nellis and Alex Emery. Them two have absolutely killed the game recently. Smashing numbers, smashing views, especially short form. They were in the red for months on end.
Right.
Negative, losing money, overspending, overly spending. But they were spending in the business. They were investing in themselves. And them two, John Nellis and Alex Emery, who's like the guy behind, the brains behind the magic of John.
Yes, yeah.
Who's an absolute genius, by the way. I really get along with him every time we see them. Them two together are now killing the game. Absolutely killing it. I mean, of course, the question is, they're short form, and do people understand them as a character? Do people actually know them as a person rather than just an idea? And that's what they need to gauge in. You know, will they become like a Speed or a Sidemen where people really know them? And that's for their own task to work out. But right now, in terms of numbers, they are absolutely smashing it, and they deserve all the respect. And those guys work overload, and invest in themselves and spend so much more. So they couldn't lose. So they could be in the top 1% of their own bracket, That's why they win. So whilst we're on this point, and that also takes me to another angle. Like, people will say to John or maybe to me, they'll go, it's not work. You go into football games, it's not work.
Yeah.
People don't see the other side behind it, where you're spending hours on end sitting down with my editor Cass in the office, working for a cool idea, and then trying to get the access we need, or buying that flight that isn't too expensive, or finding that accommodation we need, or there's so many hours put into that.
Absolutely.
When it gets to the pyramid of delivering, it looks easy. Because we've got in that position.
And this is what I see. So over the years, I've met a lot of the YouTube folk. I've met all the Sidemen. I've met all, the Jack Mates of this world and what have you. And what they've all got in common, they make it look easy, don't they? They make it look simple and enjoyable, but they're all grafters. I can see that. I can see that. Someone my age can see a grafter.
And his team, grafters.
They do. So this is what maybe some people in the audience don't see. They're like, oh, Thogden, he's lucky because he just gets to go to a football game and make money. You're right, you have to put in the graft. But it's interesting, the whole sort of business of YouTube, because I've invested in a YouTube business, and I can't say who it is. I'm not allowed to.
I didn't even know this.
But interestingly, Theo, they only invest, they buy YouTube channels and they improve them, and eventually they look to sell them on. What they wouldn't do, they would not buy, for example, the Thogden channel. Why?
Because it's not
the Thogden
entity.
channel. Yeah, because the Thogden channel is all about Theo Ogden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree with that point, though. I think in the long run that will change, because Mr. Beast is the most expensive channel on the internet, and it's not.
Okay, all right. So imagine if somebody bought the Mr. Beast channel for billions, and Mr. Beast decided, I'm going to the beach now. See, that's the problem with the YouTube business.
Yeah.
So this business that I've invested in, only a little bit, they buy YouTube channels that are not dependent upon a personality.
Yeah.
So it might be like a mathematics YouTube channel where, okay, if that guy doing the voiceovers leaves, they'd get another one in.
Yeah.
So they're buying the concept, and they improve them, and then they sell them on. It's interesting, though, because the guy who does the football shirt, Ellis Away Days, did he sell some of his business to classic football shirts?
Yeah, but I don't know what the price was, unless you know more than me.
I don't.
Yeah, I think he must have sold a chunk of it. It's groundbreaking for the football community. It's very interesting that he's done that. I think if you need a cash injection in the meantime, especially if you want to reinvest in your life or your travel or your future content, that makes sense. The moment that they step in and take away your heart and soul, you start to lose a bit of motivation in the long run.
Yes.
And that's what gets you.
So do you think, put you on the spot here, you're 24 years old, will you be doing YouTube age 34?
I really hope so, yes. I really hope so, yeah. And I hope it's bigger than ever. It's only gone in one direction so far. I love what I do. It's the dream job.
Yes.
Absolute dream. I don't think there's an age on a number that you have to stop at. What I love doing challenges. I love traveling the world, paying for a team as well. I've got a graphics designer in Rob, same guy that Ellis uses, top guy. I've got Cassius and Archie, who both edit on the first channel, the second channel. And, I owe these guys. They give me their time.
Yeah.
I pay them. And I don't want that to change, because as a team, and even my graphics designer, Liam, as well, years go by. I hope more people join the team.
Yes.
And I've got you as well. You're Thogden, and you're the character as part of the channel, which people don't really understand, but that's just how it is. Everyone, I love what I do. I love the connection I have with my audience. I love the connection I have with my dad when we sit down here and talk on the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that people get so wound up about it. I hope it goes forever. I hope it goes forever.
But so obviously you started almost 11 years ago now. Back in the day, you were a fanboy, weren't you? And your sister was a fangirl of the YouTubers of the time. Think back to those YouTubers who you liked 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Are they still around?
No, they're not. They're not, apart from a few. Kasperly moved on to property. Joe Sugg tried to do the whole national TV stuff, but I've not seen much of him in a while. Joe Sugg's missus has gone, I can't even remember her name. She ran the show. Zoella. Oh, sister. Zoella. The fact that I've just called her, so Zoella dated Alfie Days, I don't know where they've gone. There was that was the creators that, I mean, I wasn't like super, I mean, growing up, I knew of them because they were the big dogs. KSI, still to this day in the game, he was kind of in that frame. Cal Freezy switched up, started the Fellas Studio, and that's doing really well.
Of course, Jackmate was still around then.
Jackmate, I mean...
But you used to go to Summer in the City.
Yeah.
You used to get autographs. You used to have posters on your bedroom through there. So you did idolise them. But what I'm saying, it's
I was a fanboy turning YouTube. It's the dream.
It's the entertainment business, isn't it? And the entertainment business is fickle.
Yeah.
You don't know who's going... I mean, you in some ways, you're the exception because...
Talk about the entertainment business. KSI, who I literally started this YouTube channel because of, you know, his old videos, legendary.
Yeah.
Finally spoke about me on his podcast, and I didn't even know. I was in the pub on Friday, and KSI, my mate goes, KSI spoke about you on the podcast. I'm like, what? And he was like, I was like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. Bearing in mind, I've just come back from Qatar charity match.
Yeah.
He missed a sitter, and I and then pushed him.
No.
And then he did it, he missed again, and I laughed in his face again. And then at full time, in fairness, we shook hands and said, he was like, well, you made some good saves. And I was like, oh, mate, well, thank you. It's an honour to share the pitch with you. Then he goes home, back on the podcast with the Sidemen, and he's like, oh my God, he pushed me. It was a proper hard push. I want to fight the guy. I think I can knock him out.
He's not serious though, is he?
No, KSI, I'd love to know if he was being serious there, but when he sees red, he can't get out of that.
But he didn't see red at the time. It's obviously just entertainment.
Obviously it's entertainment. It's a charity match. He misses an open goal. You give him a push, you have a laugh. And obviously, for me, to be facing my eye, literally playing on the pitch with my idol.
Yeah, I know.
The guy that I used to I'll never forget, back in the day, we were on Skype, because before Discord and all that, there was Skype. And I used to pretend I had FIFA coins to sell to him.
Yes.
He would that was the only way I'd get him to message me back. He would message me on Skype. It was KSI LGBT HD, his username.
Yeah.
Everybody knew it, but I was such a fanboy that I was trying to sell him FIFA coins.
No.
When I was 11 years old. He used to run, he's always been number one, and now you see him on Britain's Got Talent as a judge, and it's well, I mean, he's setting the bar, and I respect it. So the fact I'm even on his mind is an honour.
But no, I mean,
it's got to a point now where I don't even know when people talk about me. There's so many different clips now. It's unbelievable. But fair play to the Sidemen. They were on the podcast, and they were like, come on, mate, calm down.
I mean, we were chatting to KSI at the Sidemen 10-year party, weren't we? And
that was a while ago,
He was
though.
lovely. So that was a year or two back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, in person, he's I'm sure that's just entertainment.
Yeah, look, he's got so much weight on his shoulders. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
Could we do what he does? I mean, we care so much about people talking about us, but then JJ's another level of the game.
Oh, he's just different level.
Level. So,
brilliant.
Only one of a kind can maintain being that higher in the game for so long. We talk about all these other YouTubers. They've all gone. And JJ's still there running the show. And maybe that is, in fairness, the likes of Simon, his close mates, the Sidemen, keeping him in gear, keeping him intact, keeping him with reality. I think they do a great job of that. And they deserve the respect for that. At the same time, the way Sidemen has turned it into a business, created staff, overloaded employees to make sure that they break down to the things that they enjoy and they allow the things that they don't enjoy to be done by someone else. That's how you run a business. Forget YouTube channel, that's how you run a business. They delegated the work. So, you might not see JJ on every Sidemen Sunday because he's got loads of shoots, but overall, he will come back. He's still part of the team, and they help all grow the business into the success that they've all had. So I mean, you can really break down what they've done, and it's one of the greatest UK success stories. If they were a public company and you invested in them early on, you'd be a rich man. The way to look at it is they're one of the most successful entrepreneurship ideas coming together and running the show and sticking together no matter what. We've got to respect it from not just from a YouTube world.
Do you know what, Theo? For someone my age, I've seen the birth of YouTube. Yeah. And let's go back. The last 15 years, it's like a new industry. A new sector has been created out of nothing. Yeah. Yeah. So back in the day, there was certain industries. It might be everything from accounting to construction work to steel making. Those were the jobs you would get, or you'd work in a shop. Then this new thing came along called social media, and I've seen it, and you've seen it from a very early age. And this whole YouTube game is being invented in front of our very eyes.
So how long is it until we have a YouTuber stock market? How can I buy the price of a creator like, I don't know, Still Ryan, because he's on the come up. I'm going to make some good money on him. but I'm going to short stock Mimulus. I don't know. He came for us.
Or
one of the Sidemen, because they're big. They're big cheeses. Their price will be high. At some point there'll be a YouTuber stock market.
I'm going to take this in a slightly different direction. If you were a potential investor, you were in the financial markets and you decided, I want to invest in this whole area of social media, which includes podcasting.
Yeah.
There's very few places you can go. So there is one company called Audio Boom, and I think they're number 4 in the United States. You can actually go to the London stock market and buy their shares. You could do it right now. You could call up your bank, your broker, and buy shares in that podcast company now. But you can't do that. If you wanted exposure to YouTube, it's almost impossible.
So
imagine
who's setting up the YouTuber stock exchange.
There you go. No, it won't be as simple as that. It would be a company that goes out and buys up YouTube channels and does it. It has to be very large scale. Otherwise,
but I'm saying this would just be like a stock market where fans could buy a YouTuber that they think is going to rise. So imagine you got Danny Aaron's before the rise, Angry Ginge before the rise.
And there is no reason that somebody can't set that up.
Yeah.
That own little separate thing. I was thinking more in terms of reality.
No, that we know about that. But imagine a fan had 20 quid spare and they wanted to short stock me. Try and turn it into 40 quid,
That is a great business idea for someone to set up that YouTuber stock market concept.
I think we need a YouTuber stock market.
Yes.
Maybe this is the genius idea. Someone has to set up.
Somebody should do that, and that would be fascinating.
I think it'd be fascinating. I know that, there's YouTubers out there that's been cooked. Imagine the young Philly stock that would have got dunked.
Yes. Yeah.
Even Chunks would have been affected when the Philly thing came out. But obviously he's done well to maintain it. He's been on a growth. And then the Beta Squad, all of them, their price has gone bang when the Beta Squad returns. All of the Sidemen, they're expensive stocks. You don't want to go near them. The Sidemen are they've always been high price. You don't want to touch them, but they might go up. They might continue to grow. It's they're like footsie. Spencer FC, he's kind of going away from the YouTube game. It wouldn't be a buy option. But then you've got to start looking at other sports. You're going to look at golf, the come up of golf, the big wedge.
Yeah.
You've got to start diversifying your portfolfolio.
I know.
Who are you buying, Dad? Which YouTubers are you buying on the spot?
Recently, last couple of years, you'd have bought Danny Aaron's.
Oh, Danny Aaron's and Angry Ginge would have made you a lot of money.
You'd have made a lot of money. Buy low.
But you would have bought low, yeah.
Yeah, sell high.
I reckon my price is quite low.
No, it's your price. You're one of those stocks that just keeps going.
Yeah.
Your numbers have never gone down.
That's the importance.
Your numbers have never gone down.
No.
And the more stuff that's thrown at you.
It's amazing that people the more people talk, the higher the price goes up as well. So whether it's good or bad, people still talking.
And I've always said
always been it.
The moment you worry is the moment people stop having a go at you. People stop talking. That's the moment when people don't care anymore. They're when Mimulus is shall I make a video about Thogden? Nah. The fact that he's made that video, he knows he's going to get clicks.
So you think the stock market price should have dropped based off that Mimulus video?
No, that video comes out, your price goes up.
Wow.
Because there's more eyeballs.
So you're buying the dip, but that's insider trading because you're my dad.
I've said this before, Theo, that your biggest haters are your biggest fans.
Wow.
Because they're obsessed by you. They watch all your videos because they're looking for you doing something wrong. Do you know
who crashed over the years, their stock market price? I'm going to have to say it. Joe Weller. Joe Weller. Bro went from running the game.
Is that through choice?
People are saying back up. But then he went for iShow Speed. You do not go for the big boys like that. He went for iShow Speed. He said they walked into Simon Cherry match and acted like he owned the place.
Oh, and anyone who bought iShow Speed stock is a billionaire.
Oh my God. If you bought his stock, he's now that's the most expensive price on the market.
Yeah, it is.
There's no one, there's a few YouTubers in America that you'd say are up there with him, like Logan Paul, Jake Paul. They've had a steady growth. You can't doubt, Logan Paul's price crashed at times. We know about Japan. We know about certain.
Yes.
There was some low.
But
if you bought then and then held till now,
yes, exactly.
I reckon we need to set this. This is genius.
Great idea.
The first person that sets it up makes so much off commission and fees.
It's a cracking little idea that somebody should run with that.
Unbelievable. I can't believe we're
giving away our ideas, aren't we?
And if you are going to make it based off this idea, then at least give us a bit of equity because we said it first, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know XCAD tried with the crypto thing. And they were going to set my price up. I'm ready to come in at a low price with the ability to.
Are we going to see a Thogden coin?
No. I'm talking. I want a proper stock exchange. I don't want none of this crypto nonsense.
Really?
And none of my money's in crypto. None of it. None of yours should be in crypto. It's too risky.
By the way, it's not financial advice. That's just a couple of guys rambling on a week.
Yeah, it's too volatile. You want to wake up and lose 10% of your net worth every day.
I want to ask you about something football related because things have been decided in the Championship. Leeds are up, Burnley are up.
Trafford.
Talk to me.
My brother's up. My brother is back in the Premier League.
Now let's talk about Burnley.
Let's hope it's not as bad as last time.
Let's talk about
Because Burnley got destroyed last time every game. It was like 5-1, 6-0, like 4-0. And obviously people were like, oh, it's all Traff's fault, and no one decided to blame the crap Burnley defence, which is even better in the Championship this year. I can't see Traff being a Burnley player come the start of the Premier League season. And he left on a high note.
Yeah.
He left on a high note. He left with a promotion party with the fans loving it on the pitch. You know, Scott Parker, who's an absolute legend. He is the pinnacle perfect manager of taking a club up from the Championship in one season. He's done it 3 times in 6 years now. It's unbelievable.
But let's focus on the defence. It's got to be the best defence in Europe this year.
What?
Let me know. Well, 15 goals conceded.
That
is 1 goal conceded every 3 games.
Let's get a clap from
Theo,
behind
Yeah, James Trafford.
Well done, Traff.
But it's not just Traff.
It's
the defence.
But what's going to happen when they play against Heung-min Son and then Alexander
Well,
Isaac?
that's a bad example.
And
Heung-min Son, but Isaac, yeah.
What?
Heung-min Son this season.
Don't roast Son. Do you remember what Son did to Burnley the last 2 years they were in the Prem?
Yeah.
He was their problem.
So do you think, okay, and Leeds, let's talk about Leeds United, Theo, because that is the team that your uncle supports. That is it's like a sleeping giant, Leeds.
Yeah, they've got Harry Gray now. I think it's the 5th Gray of the family that played for Leeds United or professional football. I think one of them was at a different club but played for England. It's an amazing story, isn't it?
It is fantastic. In my day, in the 70s, growing up, learning about football, my brother was a Leeds fan. Eddie Gray, Frank Gray were 2 of the legends of the time, along with Yorath and Peter Lorimer, etc.
Talking about stock market prices, we bought on the low with Archie Gray and Harry Gray. We've been talking about the Greys on our predictions for ages. In fact, they follow me on Instagram.
Brilliant.
Because they saw it on you know, rambling on about the Gray family.
Yeah.
Speaking like you're a family member.
I know.
They actually do, you know.
But a shout out to the Gray family. Let me talk about Leeds United as a club there, because in some ways they remind me a little bit of Newcastle. And I'll explain this. Okay. Leeds and Newcastle are big cities by English standards, and they've both only got one football team, Newcastle United and Leeds United. The thing about Leeds for me, I think it's part of a bigger project. Someone needs to invest heavily in Leeds United.
Red Bull.
What they need to do, yes, they need to start investing money. What I mean by that is take that stadium, which is 30-odd thousand capacity, I think, double the capacity to 60,000, and then invest properly in the team.
Yeah.
You've just gone up and you've got some, and I've written down some of the players. You've got Pirro, Nonto, Solomon, Amadou, Tanaka's been brilliant.
I've seen teams like this get relegated. Theo, Solomon's only on loan as well.
And this is my point, Theo. They've got some good players. Like Tanaka's had a brilliant season, for example. They've got good players, but those players will get roasted in the Premier League.
They will. That team will go down in the Premier League. And by the way, we need someone to break this stint of teams coming up and going straight back down. It's getting boring and horrible. So do we honestly think that Leeds and Burnley have a chance?
Only, and I'm sorry, this sounds really brutal, Theo. I'm just taking it to the money level. Unless Leeds invest a couple of $100 million, they won't stay up.
Dad, the teams that have just stayed up are Wolves, West Ham United, Tottenham. They are so much better squad depth than this Leeds and Burnley team. Anyone that's coming up now, you celebrate, and I'm sure you're on the piss the whole summer. You might as well. It's not going to change the fact you're going down next year. Unless they have an incredible amount of cash injection.
Correct.
And take a massive gamble like Forest did to break the industry, to break through. You know, what Marinakis had done over the years to almost take loans. Take the loan debt now, take the risk. When you survive, look at Forest now, Champions League.
There are a few sides to this, because Leeds in the past, going back 15, 20 years, Leeds got into the semi-finals of the Champions League. You remember that? They did that because they went on a big spending spree, but it was like building a castle on sand. It eventually collapsed. So you've got to be careful. You have to spend the money, but you've got to spend it well, and you've got to spend it within structures. You need correct, but you also need the right management team at all levels, not just the right manager on the pitch. You need the right CEO. You need the right director of football, and then going forward, like I said, you've got to do what Tottenham did, and you've got to invest in your stadium
massively,
so that for the next 20 to 50 years, you've got, instead of 35,000 coming through the door, 60 to 70,000.
And Newcastle
That's
are building.
What Leeds need to do.
Newcastle have one of the biggest stadiums in England, but they're building a new one.
Yeah,
because they want it to be newer, and that is the way. The mentality is so big there.
Yeah,
it's so big. They're going to build one of the best grounds in England. By the moment we do have a World Cup finally in England, Newcastle will probably host the final. Who knows?
Yes.
They're going to have such a good stadium there. Old Trafford as well, doing the new Old Trafford.
Yeah.
And that's what Leeds have to do next. If they can stay up, then it makes sense to then start thinking about plans of the stadium.
I hope they do. I mean, it's funny. Yorkshire's a funny one. You've got Leeds United, Sheffield Wednesday.
Hull.
You've got Hull. You've got a few teams, obviously, but none of them. You see, okay, you look at Lancashire. You've got Liverpool, Everton, Man United, Man City. You've got those 4 clubs who are always in the Premiership. The North East, you've got Newcastle United. London, 7 teams.
Don't forget Sunderland. Sunderland could go up.
Yeah, but haven't yet. And what I'm talking about is Premier League teams.
Yeah.
Yorkshire needs a team like Leeds to get it right and be Premier League regulars instead of just being a yo-yo club.
Right.
Because that's what Leeds will be.
The team I'm looking at right now is not staying up in the Premier League. Look at the Premier League. It's never been harder to survive. The sort of points that we're talking about, Southampton this year, 12 points now, or 11.
11.
It's just a joke. It's almost, it's put me off the Premier League. If I was the body, the league themselves, I'd be having a meeting being like, okay, how do we actually help the promoted teams?
Yes.
It's got so far-fetched from the usual Premier League sides and the rest.
Yes.
There's such a difference in budgets. There's such a difference in quality on the pitch that I think they need to do some kind of parachute payments for the teams coming up. Help the teams coming up.
Interesting.
Because it's killing football when the same 3 that come up go down.
Yeah, that's a really interesting idea because you've got parachute payments coming down, and I understand the logic of that because the team coming down, a lot of players are on Premier League wages.
Yeah, they need
on
help
contracts. They need help with that. That's a very interesting idea.
At what point?
Because the way things are, imagine next season that the 3 that come up go down. Suddenly that Premier League product is a lot less interesting. It's a very good point.
Give them the investment that they need, especially now that it's not relevant, but they're big teams coming up. Leeds United back. Sunderland, what a journey that would be if they do it. Oh. And then, of course, Burnley, which are always in and amongst it. You know, the town absolutely adore that club. They've been and done it before. They love the Premier League. I think there needs to be more incentive for the promoted clubs because it's very easy for them to try turn up with. I mean, we're looking at the squad depth of this Leeds team that finished top of the league, and it's not good enough potentially, but I think they will. So I don't want to keep saying the same thing to my uncle Stu. Oh, congrats on promotion, but you're going down again. I don't want that. I don't want to say that.
No.
Anyway, Dad. I mean, I want to. This podcast is coming out before Carlo Ancelotti's final Clasico between Barcelona and Real Madrid in the Seville National Stadium, whatever it's called. They always use it for like the Copa del Rey final. Yeah. I think. Who's winning it? Will Barcelona get the job done 4 days before their Inter-Champions League matchup, or will they play the kids?
That is a very good point, Theo. I'm going to go for Real Madrid.
I'm going to go Real Madrid as well.
In this game.
I think they'll just have it in them.
Yes.
They've got nothing else to go for. La Liga pretty much done.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Pretty much, unless a lot changes around. Barca are a young team. They'll be very focused on the Champions League. They want to be injured. A few players might be rested. Real Madrid should be all out for the manager to get that job done.
And if you're Real Madrid, every season you have to win something.
They have to win something.
The expectation is absolutely
They'll
sky high.
go into work every day since that match against Arsenal, second leg, and they'll be embarrassed.
Yes.
You know, there'll be a feeling that something really bad has happened. It will be like that you'll see shadows of Real Madrid fans in the training sessions thinking about that loss. And they did well to come across, I think it was against Athletic Bilbao at home. Valverde scored a wonder strike in the last minute to get 3 points and keep that gap between 3 or 4 points with Barcelona. But the focus should be coming home with some kind of trophy. Go out there in Seville and win. Bellingham, make it yourself, mate. Go and do it yourself. Go and score that goal to have something to cheer about for Real Madrid this year. It's been a poor year. Go get Trent as well in the summer. I know he's your best mate. Bring him over because they need it. They need that creativity, don't they?
So you think Bellingham's going to be the main character?
I think he knows he's the main character. Yeah. He is the main. I think he'll be the one to win them that game. That Real Madrid to win 3-2.
Wow.
After added time.
I'm going to go with 2-1 Real Madrid.
2-1 Real Madrid. And it's weird that we're saying that. I've just watched a 5-2 smashing of Barcelona in the last El Clasico. Yes. And now I'm predicting the other way, but I just know what's on the line, what's coming up in big fixtures. They won't want to risk the injury. You know, Real Madrid, they're going to be Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
You know,
yes.
Do you want to play him?
I read something, and you might fill me in on this. Vinnie Jr. Isn't he being investigated for something?
Yes, so Vinicius has a difficult time now. Carlo Ancelotti's currently in investigation over tax fraud from ages ago. It's one of those things that have just laid around. And now Vinny has a problem because Vinny's dad has a company in Brazil that has investments in a Portuguese First Division club and a Brazilian First Division club. And if FIFA step in and see that, within that, Vinicius has got investments in this fund.
I see.
So technically, he could get suspended in football up to 2 years. But the reality of it is, he'll have to sell his shares and nothing will happen. Yeah. So people are acting like it's the end of the world. Nothing's going to happen. He's probably going to go score against Barcelona next week. I don't see it being an issue.
Hopefully. Let's leave that one to the lawyers. But elsewhere in football, Theo, the Premier League, I know it's lost a little bit of its glamour. We know who's winning it.
We're still doing
predictions.
predictions.
But who of the 7, you've got 7 teams going after 5 places. Aston Villa lost yesterday
I don't
to Man
even want to
City.
talk about Europa League and Conference League spots.
No, Champions League. We're talking about Champions League
I know,
spots.
but they tried to work out who gets what on match of the day.
Impossible.
It's so hard because Newcastle won the Carabao, and that means they can play in Europa League, and if they qualify in a Conference League spot, they go directly into the Europa League. And I got completely confused. The only thing that we can say is the 5 spots of the Champions League. If you get in that, you're done.
Did you see the way Man City celebrated yesterday? As if
it was like they won the Prem.
I know. So it's looking like
beating
Man
Villa
City
is a top 6 club now, Dad.
Huge result. And do you know who made the difference in that game? Doku. I watched that second half.
Doku, you always loved him. I never liked him.
Doku came on and made the difference.
Marmoush for me.
He took
I'm
a man
more
on.
Marmoush.
He whipped in a cross. Good finish by Nunes.
And I love the new players like O'Reilly, Rico Lewis. I think City are investing in the future.
Yeah.
Pep stressed out as hell.
McAtee nearly scored the goal of the season at one point.
Yeah, that guy. Do you think he's got future at City? You think he'll play every week?
I think he's a very good player. I think he's...
Matheus Nunes.
Yes.
Matheus Nunes.
He took his goal well.
2 contributions in 2 games now, becoming a very key member of that Pep system.
Yes.
So things are changing. And when Rodri's back, my God, they're all going to thrive, aren't they?
They are.
A bit more protection, a bit more support as well.
Because I'm thinking ahead. So in August, we need to do our annual Premier League predictions for the whole year.
We need to...
I'm already thinking.
Apparently in 2020, we did where we think football will be in 5-10 years.
Oh, no.
So we need to have a look back.
We have to look.
We have to have a look back.
We probably got that so
We should
wrong.
pull that up in the next podcast episode, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. We probably got it awfully wrong.
I'm sure we did.
I probably thought Villa would be playing Bolton in the Championship by then. Or I'd probably sneak Bolton into the Premier League by then.
I mean, we're not talking much about Bolton because when you lose 4 in a row, we've got no chance of the playoffs. It's tough, isn't it?
Our manager needs a summer to have and build the squad that he wants. Yeah. Simple as that.
Simple as that, yeah.
I don't want to go up this year because then we wouldn't be ready for the next division.
No.
Let's get it right in League One first before we talk about Championship. And we're going to be outside the playoffs guaranteed. Good luck to whoever makes it in the end, Reading or... But, Dad... Brian FK over in Norway have been causing carnage because they've been giving Man of the Match award. Instead of giving me a little trophy, last month they gave them 4 trays of eggs.
Yeah.
And the player looked gutted. So they changed it up.
Yeah.
The Brian FK player of the match is now given a lamb.
No.
A live lamb.
A lamb?
Like a little lamb. Alive.
And
it's the Man of the Match award.
They slaughter it and they eat it, or
do whatever you want. Maybe sell the fur.
What
make
if,
it your pet?
What if the Man of the Match is a vegetarian?
Good question.
Then you've got a pet, I suppose.
You got a pet. You got a friend. You got a friend for life.
Friend for life.
Not for life, but you got something there. But really clever from Brian FK. You know, I would have liked the 4 trays of eggs. The guy looked gutted when he got.
You like your eggs, don't you?
Yeah, of course. So it's the best thing.
3 or 4 egg omelette in the morning.
It's Easter as well. How can you not? Yeah,
absolutely.
But Dad, what do you think about that? Would you take a live lamb?
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
Look, I'm a veggie, so I wouldn't eat the lamb. I wouldn't want it slaughtered.
You'd make it your friend.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably...
And you got to remember, out in Brian FK, all the players are probably living on farmland. They're living in green spaces.
Yeah.
Quite a normal thing for them.
Yeah, life's different out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
talking about life being different out there.
Yeah.
Bodo Glimt.
Wow.
How will Tottenham do in the Arctic Circle? That is I think there's only 400 away tickets, but what a place to go.
That will be amazing. And, you know, Bodo Glimt, what a story that is. And they can beat Tottenham. They can beat Tottenham.
The first Norwegian team to make European semi-final.
Yeah.
They've got the country behind them. I remember I was in Oslo when Bodo Glimt were 1 match away from being in the Champions League, and the whole country was like, and we're talking about Oslo, nowhere near Bodo, and they're all in support. They're all in support as a nation to see something successful in Europe, because Norway always just misses out on Euros or World Cups. This is their time to enjoy it. That could be a cheeky upset. Will Ange get shook by that second leg up in the Arctic?
Well, do you know what? I think we need to do a predictions video, but what amazes me is Tottenham Hotspur, Man United, and their supporters know it. Rubbish this year.
Terrible.
Absolute garbage. And in terms of expectations against reality, the gap between those two for both of those teams is phenomenal.
The managers know the only reason their job is safe right now is because they've got this far in Europe.
Well, this is the irony. Ange wins a trophy and he's going to be like, hey, I've delivered.
But the rumour is, even if he wins the Europa League, they're going to sack him.
Well, yeah, he's not good enough.
But he won the Europa League. And the fans will always go, he had that bad season, but was he changing? He won that trophy for us. He cancelled that long period where we didn't win things.
The Tottenham fan I spoke to yesterday said, I do not care about the Europa League. I don't want the embarrassment.
I don't think many Tottenham fans...
I don't want the embarrassment of losing week in, week out to the Nottingham Forest of this world. Tottenham Hotspur...
Nottingham Forest this was one of the best teams in England.
Well, yeah, but historically they're not. You know, historically...
So what?
Historically, Tottenham, they beat Nottingham Forest.
That's not how life works now, Dad. Aston Villa and Forest...
Tottenham Hotspur lost at home to Leicester City. Let that sink in. Tottenham fans do not like that. So it's ironic in some ways.
I would actually enjoy the away day. Just forget the result. Go to Bodo... jump in the snow.
Get yourself a media ticket. Get in there.
I reckon I've got to. Yeah, it's a good shout. I think there's some great coverage. Would you come along into the Arctic?
Very tempting.
And the final in Bilbao, I see Bilbao smashing United. I'm sorry. I see, and if not that, forget it. I think Bilbao win the tournament. They're playing the final in their own stadium.
Yeah.
Why is anyone betting against them?
Yeah.
They've got a Basque nation. They've got a togetherness within that squad. Unlike Man United, which is all about individuals, big money signings, global scouting board. The Basque boys, you don't even know who they are, some of them, and they're worth 50, 60 mil.
Yeah, really.
Seriously.
Yeah.
These lads are incredible. And we'll break it down in Europa League predictions, but I've even met a few of them. You know, I met the manager, Ernesto Valverde, did a press conference. I was there, asked him a question. I think Bilbao, I don't think the final will have any English teams. Okay, maybe Bodo Glimt, because of the first leg being in Tottenham. I think they've got 3 key players suspended.
Right.
So I think Tottenham will be in the final, but Bilbao win the tournament. I'm sorry to be the boring
Well, you're
guy.
giving away our video there.
I know I am. Well, stay tuned for Europa League predictions on the same channel, so subscribe to New Rounder as well.
Yeah.
And please keep clipping up the videos. If we say something crazy or funny, slap it on that old TikToker or whatever it's called.
Absolutely.
I don't use the app, so get your content on that TikToker.
Make him the main character. You
I
know
need
he
that.
wants it.
Big up Mimulus, big up KSI, big up everyone that talks about us. He's getting it back on for the outro.
Hey, we're almost done, aren't we?
Get the shades on.
Right. I'm sick of you being the main character. I'm leaving.
What?
Bloody main character.
Is that it?
It's all about you.
On that bombshell, it's time to end.